Hey y'all, it's Taryn. It is Tuesday, October 28th, I think. Yes, it's October 28th. I was going to say, it's a Tuesday in October. I seem to be having a big issue with dates lately. I don't know. I hope you'll excuse I have a cough drop in my mouth. It's probably around 9 or so. And as the evening goes on, my voice gets worse. I feel fine. But my voice is just, by the end of the night, it's just getting worse and not very nice sounding. I keep telling them all to quit making me talk. Anyway, I have been stitching. So, I had a new start yesterday. What is it? We won Winter Bird. And I just grabbed a scrap piece of fabric. And here we are. It says it's supposed to fit on here, but, I'm not so sure. But, we're going to keep going and find out if it does or not. Oh, well. We had a front come through, and it's probably in the low 60s out there. So I opened the window in the bedroom before I came out of here, so it should be nice and crisp in there. Dax will be like, "What are you doing?" And then today I worked on this one. I call it Sewing Bird. Everything is not in a language I speak. Yeah, I was making sure that I wasn't making that up, but anyway, so I get to call it whatever I want. And quite honestly, it doesn't really matter what a lot of patterns are called. I make up my own name anyway. And so here we are. I filled in more here and added in this and up here, just kind of going. Even that is like, I think this here is at least 2 different shades of blue, maybe 3. So, things take longer when there are a lot of thread changes. And I was busy doing other stuff, so I didn't get as much stitching time this morning as usual. I've been thinking about my issue with Hallie's birth announcement, and I think I figured out how I'm going to try to fix it. We'll see if it works, hopefully. I'll work on that on Saturday, unless I just can't stand it, and try to see if my fix is going to work beforehand. Not a ton of stuff going on around here. Always fun and exciting stuff. I see other people that have cats that, they're just good cats. My mom has 2 cats that are pretty good. They don't do that much. One of my cats has decided to sit in the kitchen window above the sink, which there are 4 windows at the other side of the room. I don't know why I can't sit in those, but I have a drying rack there for the things I wash by hand. And so I put a towel over it, because if he's going to keep sitting in the window, I don't want him being up there and getting fur all over my clean dishes or any of that. So I covered him with the towel. And now he's sleeping on them. He thinks I made him a bed. There's nothing about that can be comfortable. Nothing. And like I said, there are 4 other available windows. One of them has a cat tower in front of it, which, quite frankly, none of them use. Not a single one of them. The only one who uses the cat tower is Ryan when he comes over and he flings the things that are in the spring. That's it. Addison has 2 cats. They have 2 cat towers. Their cats use them nonstop. They've had to replace at least one of them already. where the cats scratch their claws and all of that kind of stuff. No, my cats use our cabinets in the kitchen for their claw scratching. So I don't know, but I can't believe that he is sleeping in a dish rack with dishes in it. Always, always. And then I put out this little pumpkin decoration that I have for Halloween, and it's the little plastic things all melted together, you know, but it's a dimensional pumpkin. It's not like the things from when I was a kid that you put in the window or whatever. And one of the cats has decided to sleep on it, so now it's just all collapsed in. I live in a zoo. I don't even. What do you do? What do you do? Okay. That's all I have for now. I think. Nothing exciting going on, which is good. I'm okay with that. I think that's it. So I'm going to take my happy little self, get in the shower, and then go to bed. So I'll see you hopefully tomorrow, but if not, soon. It'll just be a second for you. All right. See ya. Okay, we're back. It is Thursday, October 30th. I think that's right. I think it's about 8 o'clock at night. I don't know what's going on right here. If you have curly hair, you know it has a mind of its own. So we just go with the flow. It's only been a couple of days, so I have a couple of things that I worked on. I think I worked on this some more. I'm pretty sure I did. And got to here. So I think since last time I brought up the tree a little bit. I keep saying I'd like to get it. This is September's, that I'd like to at least get it done before the end of October. But as you can see, I've not done that. It's only about 8 o'clock. Maybe I can get some more work done on that tonight. And then yesterday I worked on Earth Dancer. It is I have to look, so I always get it wrong. Butternut Road. Butternut Road? Was that it? Yes, Butternut Road. Anyway, so here is where I'm at. I'm working on a different pot that's back there. As you can see, the pot's down there. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to because I spent forever. There's some colors in there that now with the other colors around them, you can tell that one's a dark blue and one's a dark green. But when it was just those, it was hard to tell. It looked like it was all the same color. And so then I kept going, there's nothing that's all the same color. What have I done wrong? So I wasted a lot of my time just trying to figure that out. I don't know if you can tell or not, but the voice is still struggling. It's worse at night. Isn't that always the case when you're sick, though? It's worse at night. And then today I had a new start. I know, because I needed it. And it's out of Cross Stitcher magazine. I don't know the date. I have a digital copy of the magazine. But I didn't print out a picture. So, here, don't copy this. Okay? It's just this little Christmas tree. And so, I just worked across the bottom. It still needs the, I was going to call it stems. That's the trunk of the tree. And so, that's what I've worked on today. Well, the last couple of days. Tomorrow is my Paula Vaughn October quilt, so we'll see how that goes. What else is going on? Addison's doing good. She's at 34 weeks. And everyone she works with says that it's going to be sooner than that. What else? Oh, I know. Yesterday morning, I was trying to remember if it was this morning or yesterday, when Dax went to the gym, he was saying that when he got back that there was a truck that had crashed in the kind of the retention pond area for the gas station that's a couple miles down the road from us, and that there were like 5 police cars there. And then later, when we were driving through town to go to work, through the square in our little town, I think every sheriff's deputy in the county must have been along the square. One of them was standing blocking off a road that goes like back to the public parking, and there are a couple of houses back there. Nothing much really, but with his AR out and everything. And so we were like, oh. And then we were like, why is all of that concrete everywhere in the parking lot? What is going on? Well, come to find out, 2 guys each stole a truck right down the street from each other. And one of them crashed his at the gas station. And all of that concrete was where the other guy ran through a little stone wall and stuff that has it says Wimberley on it and all of that, downtown in the square. There is only a downtown. There is nothing, you're not going to find a bunch of other stuff anywhere else. Small community. And and he took off. So they were looking for him. And because I think the other guy was armed, they issued a warning for the people in that area, within a 1 mile radius, I think they said, to shelter in place and all of that. I don't think they ever found him. But around here, if you have a decent truck, even if you have an old truck and it gets stolen, chances are it's on its way to Mexico across the border. Very popular items to get stolen and taken to Mexico. So it was a lot less exciting this morning going into work. There was nothing going on, which I prefer it. I told Dax when we went through town and there were all the police everywhere and everything. I think at one point they had SWAT out. It's like, I just really like it at home in my own little bubble. I don't know any of it's going on. I really prefer that. So I really think that's, the most excitement we've had around here. And thank goodness it did not involve me. And I'll take it. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know. We usually leave the office early and come sit in the square. And the very same square, they do, a lot of the shops stay open and hand out candy to the kids. And we like to go and just watch the little kids. We used to take ours back in the day, but now we just go watch the other little kids and just look at their costumes and stuff. So we'll probably do that. Addison had invited us to go with them, with Ryan trick-or-treating, but Ryan really likes Dax, so we kind of told her to give some thought so that they could have their little family thing. And she did not, in fact, give it any thought. So I told her today, we're not going to come. You do your little family thing, because it's important to have that, just y'all. And our feelings are not hurt. We got to do it with our kids, so you can certainly do it with yours. Maybe sometimes we'll tag along, but y'all can have this, as he's getting excited and starting to understand to ask for the candy and all that stuff. So Anyway, depending on how long we take to do that and whatever else we do, I may or may not be back. So if I don't, I'll try to be here on Saturday, but I don't know. We may go to the Renaissance Festival on Saturday. We'll just, I live my life up in the air. My plan ahead. Anyway, I'll see you in a second. I'm back. It is actually Saturday, November 8th. Surprise. Time flies, I guess, when you're having fun, right? I did record a video on Sunday, but I deleted it because it was just a mess. So, and I haven't been back, obviously, in between. A couple of days there, Dax and I decided to try this cleanse detox protocol. It's actually a 15-day protocol. We made it almost all the way through 2 days and just decided that we've got to find a different one that takes baby steps. I was not a happy camper, and neither was he. So, we're done with that for now. We'll see if we can find something else, or maybe we'll just decide not to do it at all. But anyway, between then and now, we did Halloween. We went and sat in the square and watched the little kids trick-or-treat. Sadly, there were more adults dressed up in costume, just out drinking and walking around in their costumes than there were little kids this year. So that was unfortunate. But it's fine. Addison invited us to go with him and Ryan to trick-or-treat, but Ryan is very attached to Dax, and so we decided that Jacob would never say anything about it. He would just say it's fine. Jacob is a peacemaker, and would never even tell us, no, I don't want you to come because I want to do this with my son, not watch you. So I made an executive decision and told Addison, no, y'all need to go do this as your little family unit, especially now when he's old enough, he'll be 2 in January, that he is excited and wowed by the decorations and all of that. And I absolutely loved when our kids were just filled with wonder and discovering things. So we didn't want to take that away from them. So anyway, sorry, long story for no reason. So we did not go with them, but we let them go have their family thing because it's okay to do that. I don't know what I did. Look, I have right here. I woke up with, I don't know if I bit my lip in my sleep. I don't know, but there you go. Have I reached that age where you injure yourself sleeping? I told Dax, I said, I knew you were hitting me in my sleep and now I have proof. He said no, because if he's going to do that, he'd wake me up. So, I think I've gotten everything. It's hard to know since I missed since I deleted the last video. But anyway, I've worked on this Mill Hill Buttons and Beads Believe. And I have a note on my pattern telling me that all of this blue has to come out. So as you can see, I started pulling that out, but mostly I worked over and filling in some of this in here and putting in that. And that is over here on his sack is where that is. It's these darker ones there. And I have worked on my September sweet stitching. Hopefully I'll get it done before the end of November. So there you are. I think now I've gotten all the leaves in, parts of some of the berries. Here's my floss, that's my needles on the back, where I'm putting in these petals on the flowers. So I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer. We'll see if it is going to get done ever. Last Saturday, Dax and I went to the Renaissance Festival. I actually wore the not a winch dress. I guess, what would you call somebody else? I don't know. I wore the dress and the corset and the shoes and everything. The day started out very nice, but it was a little cool for a lot of the day, but then it a lot of the morning, and then it warmed up, and it was really nice until about 5 o'clock. When it started raining and the temperature dropped like into the 50s. And I finally was like, I can deal with being cold, or I can deal with the rain, but I cannot stand to be out here in both. So we left hours earlier than we usually do, but that's okay too. It's been beautiful every other weekend since the Renaissance Festival started. Some friends of ours are there this weekend, and it's absolutely beautiful. The day we went so far has been the only day like that, I believe. So, oh well, it's fine. We had fun while we were there. I have worked on my quilts for all season, from Polybond. If you're new here, I'm doing them all. I've got them all started. I did work on October's for the last Friday in October, and got to here on the last day. I spent filling in over here on the door. Some of it came down here, and then I picked these kind of little red colors to fill in. So there she stands until the next time. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it next year. I don't know. I don't know yet. Maybe just one. I don't know. One day out of the month. Each month. I don't know. I guess I could say that again, right? This is November's, and I worked on it yesterday. Well, yesterday's the first time I've worked on it. The red was here when I started, so yesterday I filled in this brown here, part of the quilt. That's where the brown and all of that is. As you can see, the linen that's like right in this area. I do love these. That's why I don't know. Sorry, I have to put it back in its bag. That's why I say I don't know, because I really enjoy working on them and I really want them done. But last time I counted, I had, 170 whips. Some of those need to get more work on them also. So that's why I don't know how I want to do it next year. This is just called Ukrainian Ornament. It is on my list of 20. Yeah, it's not going to get done this year. Here is where it is. I mean, I am more than halfway, but still. This time I came and worked over here. These flowers weren't all the way done. The page break is like right here. So I finished off the flowers and started doing some of the black again. I mean, I think it's going to be very pretty when it's done, but it is taking its sweet time. But to be fair, I did start that one 3 times. At least, but I believe 3 times. The theme for this round of whips should be that I can't count, because the mistakes. Oh my gosh, the mistakes. So I think I had talked about being off in this one before. This is Hallie's for her birth sampler, birth announcement. I don't know what you really call it. Anyway, it's Hallie's. And I was off somewhere. I found it. Here's where I'm at. I found where I got off, and it was in this pony, and it was right here at his butt. It should have been over 1. So that made everything else be off, and I had to adjust things, but I think that I've got everything back on track now. I pulled out what I had done on the duck, and here on this wheel I had to pull out a little bit because I moved that over 1, and so went back in and obviously stitched on the duck. That's what I worked on while we were on our way to the Renaissance Festival, was getting this fixed. And so I've obviously I've backstitched most of the pony. There's a little bit more that needs to be done. And the duck, these right here, this is books. It doesn't get filled in. The book pages will go here. There's more on the outsides, but the book pages go in, which is just a few straight stitches. But anyway, it's so cute where I've gotten the back stitching done on it. It really is making it look like something, as back stitching tends to do. I worked on Stony Creek's Graveyard Halloween. When I'm spinning my wheel and it comes up with a holiday, I have another wheel to decide what holiday, and so Halloween came up. This is my oldest Halloween piece. That's why it gets picked. For the holidays, I take whatever's my oldest piece for that holiday and work on it. And here is it. You can see I don't have very big margins because I obviously can't math either. Counting and mathing, both of those are somewhat important if you do accounting, but I apparently am bad at both. Anyway, I am off up here. I'm off 1, and I am not ripping all of this out to fix it. It's just going to be, instead of there being 2 stitches right here, there's only going to be 1 coming down. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm not fixing it. This time I came down from here. This right here is the page break. So I had most of this done. So I came down here this time. So there's still plenty left to go. Plenty left to do. But regardless, I like it. It's fine with me. And I keep this in the little bag that I made out of, I have 12 blocks. It was a year of these monthly embroidery and quilting, because it came with these little strips to sew around the sides. I added these to make it wide enough to do the bag like I wanted to. And I used a Jingle Bell pumpkin as my zipper pull. And then I worked on, I call it Rooster Pin. I think it's called Ruffled Feathers, which is a Janlin. And here is where I'm at. I just still filled in a little bit on this chicken. It's not easy to see because the colors are all so light. And so I came over here and filled in on this one. I started coming across. You can see I've pulled out a bunch of stitches here because I'm off. But these stitches were right. I'm off up here. So this all has to come out because everything, this needs one more, and that all has to be moved over. So this is why I'm saying this is also on my list of 20. It's not going to be done this year. Probably or next year or the year after, but we'll see. We'll see. I worked on Country Spirits Collection, Scenes of Summer by Homespun Elegance. That's what it looks like. And I'm off. Here is where we are. I was putting in this tree. I had put in a bunch of green. You can see where I've pulled out stitches. I had put in a bunch of green and then realized that it was not the same green, that I had pulled the wrong color, so I pulled that out. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to have to pull all of this out because I found where I'm off, but I am off 3 rows. And I either had to pull out all the letters or I have to pull out all of this, and I've decided to pull this out. I lost sleep the night that I realized this, trying to decide if I was just going to fudge it and find lines to take out of everything. And I just decided that, no, I'm going to pull it out. Makes me want to scream, but told you, I can't count, apparently. And I worked on this little stocking for Hallie's first Christmas. Actually, it's going to be her stocking until I make her a bigger one. So instead of first Christmas in the year, I'm going to rechart that to say Merry Christmas. We'll see how that goes. I love doing things that are going to take me even longer. So here we are. This is the little rocking horses. I'm trying to do all the stitching before I do the back stitching and stuff, but I think I'm going to have to break down because the rocking horses are mostly back stitching. These two, they have saddles that are a different color. That's why only these two have them done. But I guess I'll just break down and do the back stitching. And if I'm going to do that, then I'll go ahead and put the wheels on this one. I think some of these other wheels may need to be stitched. There's little bows that go here, the eyes on the teddy bears. There are French knots that go in for the ornaments on the Christmas trees. So I guess I'll just go ahead and do all that. I just kind of work on it, 30 minutes here and there. The other night, I was warming up some apple cider, and I got a mug out and got the apple cider, and Dax was like, "You didn't warm that up long enough. That's not hot enough." And I started pouring it into the mug, and you could see the steam coming off of it. And Kirsten's like, "That's not all going to fit in that mug." And so I poured it in the mug, and it was perfect. It fit perfectly. So they were both like looking at each other, and Dax was like, "That's why no one likes your mother." I was just like, "Take that." You should not doubt me. Actually, most of the time it's justified. I just got lucky. I also got my December mini village. I think this is the last one for the club because I think I started January. That was my New Year, new start this year. So I think that makes all of them for the club. I haven't finished January. But for the other club, I finished everything up until September. September has been an issue for me getting it finished. I don't know why. But anyway, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. Okay, I think that's all. Like I said, I deleted the one, and I probably should have paid attention to what I talked about when I deleted it, what I showed and everything. But apparently that would be asking too much. So I think I've gotten everything. Trying to think if anything fun and exciting is going on, and I don't think so. Here in a little bit, in about 30 minutes, we have to leave. We're babysitting Ryan while they go to, Addison and Jacob go to Addison's company Christmas party. Remember, I told you it's November 8th. So anyway, we're going to go play with Ryan and have a lot of fun. Let's see if I can find a picture to show you. Addison sent us pictures this morning at his soccer practice, because he's too stinking cute. He's got this bunny now that he has decided to carry with him everywhere. It was in a picture she sent the other day of him eating breakfast. He had it crammed in beside him in the high chair. I don't know why the poor bunny doesn't get to be with his head up, but whatever. He's in his, there's his soccer uniform. He's so stinking cute and such a happy little kid. It's just so much fun. Addison is big as all get out. We've made bets on when the baby's coming. So, her doctor said at her appointment on the 18th that they would discuss, right, the 18th, yeah, that they would discuss if she would like to be induced, and if so, they would discuss dates. And I told her, because we've all got bets going on when this baby's coming, that she cannot cheat and choose the date that she's bet. So it's all good though, because she said that she wants to, she doesn't want to be induced this time. She wants to wait and let it happen. She was induced last time, so she'd like for it to just happen naturally this time. The little bit of fear in there is because the hospital she's delivering at is about an hour away. Maybe. So, anyway, I think that's all the news we have here. Like I said, nothing exciting going on, and that's okay with me. Yeah, okay. I'm going to try to come back tomorrow and then go ahead and get the video of everything put together and upload it on Monday. We'll see how that goes. All right. See you in a sec. And we're back. It is not the next day. It is Sunday, November 16th. Surprise, says no one ever. Anyway, there's no real reason except for just being lazy. That's really it. So we helped Addison and Jacob move out of their apartment yesterday. They rented a house. So that was good for them because they were in a very small apartment, and with baby number 2 really probably we're getting into any time now. They needed the extra. The downside of all of that is that Dax and I are not as young as we used to be, and their apartment was on the 3rd floor with stairs only. Addison is far too pregnant to be carrying things. We didn't even want her going up and down the stairs at all. So I am so sore today. Especially my calves. I don't even know why. But I went to bed at like 8:30 last night and I was out. But I have bouts of sometimes I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and that's just it. I am awake. So yesterday morning I woke up at about 4. So I really was tired. I didn't even eat dinner last night. I made something for Dax. I went and took a shower and I went to bed. That was it. Now this morning I slept until like 5:30, so that was all good. But in the meantime, I have been stitching. I did work on the baby's birth announcement. Birth sampler, but it's not a sampler, so I don't know. I don't know the right thing to call it. I did a bunch of probably you can't tell kind of things. I filled in more of the over here on this outside color and then filled in some over on this side because like there's going to be, maybe if I get a little bit closer you can see, like there's a bonnet, a bonnet hanging back there. So I filled in enough to know where that's going to be, where I can, maybe work on that next time or whatever. We'll see. And to stop to help move. And the really terrible thing is that poor little Ryan has a stomach virus. I know yesterday, I think it started the night before that she was like, uh-oh. Or maybe when she went and got him out of his class on Friday. That he just wasn't himself. And I know he threw up at least 4 times anytime that we let him even have something to drink. Today, he still can't tolerate food. She tried with just a cracker and it did not stay down. But he has kept like the Pedialyte down, and I think they gave him a little bit of chicken broth and he kept that down too. But last night after we left, Jacob got sick. So I feel for them. They still have 2 weeks before they have to be out of the apartment before their lease is up. They actually have 3 weeks before the lease is up. So they don't need to rush. I've offered to go over there and, just let me go do the cleaning. If there's other stuff that I can move, we got all the big stuff out yesterday, and most everything is out. But she probably has no business doing the deep cleaning either. She's huge. But I offered and she said no, that she's got it. So if she changes her mind, I'm available. If she gives me a few days, I might be able to actually walk back up the stairs. I'm offering to do stuff I'm not sure I can do, but I guess I could have crawled up the stairs, worst case. But that poor baby, we put him down for a nap and he slept 4 hours. He was awake, but wasn't really ready to get up. He was awake, but he was just laying there because he felt that crappy. And everybody else was over at the house doing stuff. Their landlord was meeting them over there like at 4 o'clock, and Dax had taken a load and was there to help. They rented a U-Haul truck to get stuff out of the U-Haul. So it's just Ryan and I there, and he was awake and he was just laying there because he really didn't feel good. But I went and got him up because we had to get his bed taken apart and moved. And even later when we got that truck load unloaded over at the house, all he wanted was just to go back to bed. And he for probably an hour, he just cried because he just feels awful. And so Dax and I were trying to get the bed put together and get his room to a place where he could be in there and sleep as fast as we could, while Addison and Jacob were trying to deal with him and calm him down and all of that. But we left and she put him to bed, and she texted Dax and said that he fell asleep as soon as she laid him down. He was just, and he slept most of the night, and I think he slept a fair part of today. So hopefully they're getting through this, and hopefully no one else gets it. But moving, especially from a third floor apartment, is a young man's game. And I'm not young. I've been working on this one. So here we are. Gotten a fair amount done. Unfortunately, November's is in my to be started in this next week, and I don't think October's is going to be done, but I did get September finished. I think I showed y'all that. If I didn't, tell me and I will, but I think I did. I have this. I worked on Paisley Pumpkins. Shelly at It's Only Stitching. Her and I have a sale going along. This is out of one of the calendars, the keepsake calendar from 2017. She's doing a piece out of that same calendar. Neither one of us so far being very good about it. Shelly, I took a picture before I started working on this to send to you. Oh, geez Louise. I'm like, where'd my needle go? It's sticking right at me. But when I went to send it, it wasn't on my phone. I don't know what happened, but it disappeared. Anyway, I put in this, I think, gray line, and then worked on some of this squiggly stuff up here. Nothing dramatic, but it's in the right direction. I worked on Santa Claus from Raise the Roof. And I worked on this today. I did not get very much done. I worked on the letters, and it's the C, L, the O, and this is actually part of the H. This back here is a little part of the T, but they moved together well when I was working on it. I really should do more, but I feel like there are other things that I need to get done, like Holly's stocking and those kinds of things. I did work on my Paula Vaughn Quilts for All Season piece. I'm working on November right now, which looks like this. It's one of my favorites in here, but you know, if you've been around, you know I love them all because Paula Vaughn. Guess I could have moved some of this stuff out of the way beforehand, but obviously I did not. So here we are. Starting off with this November stitch, I had some of this red. I've actually added a little bit more red down here in the corner. So that's where I started November. So in the last couple of sessions, I've gotten this stuff in, and I'm trying to, you know, as it is with things that have a lot of color changes, just get to little places where I'm anchoring things and can do different things instead of all the same thing, and working around white, because the white doesn't show up good on there, and I'd rather just be able to go fill in white than have to count off a white. I worked on, this is from Waxing Moon Designs. What does that say? Merry Christmas. I'm doing this one. I plan to do both of them, but I'm working on this one right now. And here is how it looks. I am doing this on obviously red fabric, but I'm using ecru floss. This time I basically worked on, like, from here down. I put in these 2 little snowflakes or designs or whatever they are. But he's coming along nicely. I'm liking it. I'm liking the way all the stitches look. Everything seems to be laying pretty well. Good enough for me, that's for sure. My needle minder's grabbing stuff from, this is country, what does it say? Country Scenes from Graphic Needle Arts Limited. I was doing the buggy. And although it may not look like it, I'm done. So this one's a finished object. There are, on the main design, there are like little birds and grass and stuff. And I put them in. I did stitch them and I did not like them, so I pulled it back out. So we just have the wagon. Now, what am I going to do with that? How am I going to FFO that? Who knows? It's a mystery. Let's see. Out of, what is this? Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, May, June of 92. Yes, it's practically brand new. I have been doing this, but I'm not doing it on placemats. I'm doing it on a piece of linen that I'll put in the little string of lights until it reaches the end. Here's my piece of linen. I'll put the tree over here, and I want to make a drum when I'm done, but this time I put on the reindeer's head. I actually thought I was done with the reindeer, but I have one back leg that goes in right here. I think is what I have left. I mean, he still needs to be back stitched, but anyway. And then I worked on, this is out of one of those daily calendars. This is from 2011. I guess 2011 must have been the year of the rabbit. Here is mine, and I'm calling this finished. I'm not putting the symbol in the middle because I don't actually know what that says. And even though people might tell me what it says, I never trust stuff like that. So I'm just going to leave it at this. I haven't decided quite how I'm going to finish it. I'm thinking of, like, oh, stuff's falling over. Like pincushion style, and just putting stuff in it and then putting the button in the middle, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. And I think that is all the stitching I've done. I'm not sure I showed you September, so I'm going to grab it. I'm going to grab it just in case. So this was September's sweet stitching. And here is my finish. It's pretty cute. I like the crows. I'm trying to, I don't remember if they have, no, they didn't. I was going to say, I don't remember if they had eyes or not. But anyway, so look, y'all, that is 3 finishes for me. And we all know that's amazing. Since I have on my overalls, I thought I would show you my produce haul from the farm here. In case some of y'all don't follow me on my personal Instagram or Facebook, you haven't seen the fall harvest. So I thought I would show you the sweet potato harvest. There you go. It's pretty impressive. We have not eaten them yet, obviously, but I wanted to show you before I get them down there in the root cellar. We don't have a farm. Those were growing in the compost bin. In my compost bin, it's outside. You can't even really call it a compost bin because the truth of the matter is I throw stuff out in it, kitchen scraps and things. Obviously, potatoes when they start to grow eyes. And generally, the raccoons come by, and it's like raccoon buffet out there. But those took root and they grew, and they couldn't grow. I mean, I wasn't like out watering them and keeping them good. And it's a plastic tub, so they didn't really, that's why like this one's so curled up. It didn't have any place to grow. So, but I couldn't stand it, and I finally went and dug them up. I mean, it's been months. They've had plenty of time to do something if they were going to. But it made me chuckle. Let's see what else happened. What else has been going on since it's been a few days? Oh, last Monday on the way to work, 2 cars in front of us, a deer was running out and across the road, and she slammed on her brakes. And of course, I tense up because it's like, oh God, I don't want to see her hit this deer. Well, she did not hit the deer, but the deer was trying to stop, and he slid right into her car, which made him fall over, and he jumped back up, and he took off back to where he came from. And the car coming the other way slammed on her brakes, and the person behind her did not. So he it looked like he hit her pretty good, but if you live around here, you should know better. I believe it must be rutting season because there are deer out everywhere. And actually, if it's a full moon, they're even worse. But I don't think anybody was hurt. I don't think the deer was even hurt. So all's well that ends well. But it was a big adrenaline load at the start of my day. That's for sure. I get way too keyed up about stuff like that. And then I spend hours being worried about it. Even though it does not. My car didn't get hit. I didn't hit a deer. Nobody was hurt. Why am I keyed up? I don't know. I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's really anything else going on. 3 finishes is the most excitement I have. So, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. Goodness knows I need it. Today I had to catch myself because I was sitting around because it hurts too much to do much of anything. And I was like, oh, I think I'll go scroll for some cross-stitching stuff. No. I do not need another pattern. I don't even have room for it to fit in my tub. But I did buy a little kit. So, but I forgot to bring it out here. So look, I did buy cross-stitch. Actually, apparently, I bought 2 kits because I wasn't paying attention. And when I opened the package when it got here and there were 2 kits in it, I was like, uh-oh, I hope she didn't send me somebody else's. So I had to go back and look. And no, she didn't. She didn't. It was mine. I ordered it. It's right there in the title. But the one I want is a pretty simple little, because Addison's going to do Hallie's room in, I gave her a little doll that's a bunny, and it's a ballerina that I had bought at the 90 Mile garage sale in June. And she decided that that's going to be the baby's theme for her room, and this little cross stitch is a ballerina bunny, and it came in a kit. So, and the seller sent me an offer, and goodness knows I have trouble with that. So anyway, apparently it was twice as good an offer because I got 2 kids. Okay, really, I think that's everything that's been going on. I think it's everything I've stitched on. Yeah, I think so. Gotta go see what it is I'm making for dinner. I made some banana muffins today that were pretty good. Although, if I'd made them like the recipe said, that it would have been banana cake because it was crazy. It's enough batter to make 2 loaves. I made it into muffins, but it would make 2 loaves. It calls for 2 cups of sugar in there. I did not use that much sugar, and they're still good. I think they would have been too sweet if I had, but anyway, none of that matters. I gotta go cook dinner. So, I am going to take this, hopefully tomorrow, with me to the office and upload it. So thank y'all for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And if you haven't yet, be sure and do that. There are no prizes or anything like that with it, but why not? Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Bye.